If you're using React Native with Expo and you're using Google services in your app, there's always one question we all ask ourselves. The Google services files, that's the google-services-Info.plist or the google-services.json file. Do we put it in git ignore or do we keep it, is it fine that we commit it into our repo? So, and also, if you don't want to commit it into your repo, normally if you're using Expo services, you'd put the file in EAS secrets and then that'll be called into your app. But if for some reason you don't want to add it to Expo or to EAS, and you also don't want to keep it in your repo, what's the best solution for this? So in this video, I'm just going to walk you through one of the simple techniques I use in order to keep those files in my repo, but not commit them to Git. So one thing we must be clear about is that in either of these methods, those files are not really secrets. Since they're bundled with the app, they'll always be released with the app. So if someone goes and inspects your APK or ABB or IPA, they're able to find those files. So they're not really secrets. So some people believe that it's okay to commit them to Git or commit them to whatever Git provider that you're using. So, but then we all know that sometimes we might have issues with the system picking them up as secrets, and that means that you will be getting a lot of warnings that those files shouldn't be there. So let me walk you through the setup that I use basically to be able to avoid this issue. So basically what you'll see here is that this is a Expo app using React Native. Currently, it's a custom or development build. We have the iOS and the Android folders. But then what you'll notice here is that we don't have the Google service files, both the iOS and Android, on the root folder. And then we know that typically we put those files in the root folder structure. So, but then I have those files here in this folder here called config Firebase. Basically, I have those two files there. So then what normally happens when I need to do a build? When I need to do a build, what I have to do is that I currently have a helper service here, which is called, I have a script here, which is called manage Firebase config. So what the script does is that whenever I'm doing a build and I don't want to use EAS, I want to build locally. So that means then I have to have those files locally in the root of the project. So what happens is I run a script. The script looks at the config folder and looks at the Firebase folder and then grabs both those files which are there and then puts them into the root of the project. So when the files are in the root of the project, then I'll be able to do an EAS build locally for both iOS and Android without requiring me to use EAS. I can just use my PC or my MacBook for all of that. So I currently have it with a script here. So we have this script which says prepare Firebase, which just takes those files to the root of the project. But then I'm gonna be using this one, which is build iOS local or build Android local. So this will showcase what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna go npm run build android -local. So what you'll see here is that the files here have moved from the config file folder to the root of the folder. So in this case now I'm able to build the iOS file, to build the Android app locally without requiring any of the EAS services. So basically what will happen now is that it will just do the build, and then when it finishes, it will remove those files and move them back into the config file. The files are on the git ignore folder, so you'll see that folder right there, it is on the git ignore. So that means then those files won't be committed to git, and you can also git ignore them as well because they are never in git. So that's one way you can handle this. I hope you found this video helpful, and subscribe for more videos on this. I'm gonna create more videos on Firebase as well, some of the setups, so that you can get it working for iOS, Android, and web. Apart from that, you can get the code in the description as well. Yes, have a great one. Cheers, y'all.